Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to our live session of Fiqh Islamic rituals. Yesterday we completed wudu, that's ablution, and today we will be studying the ritual bath, the ghusl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Noble Quran, وَإِن كُنتُم جُنُبًا فَطَهَّرُوا. And if you are ritually impure, then seek purity. In other words, purify yourselves. This is in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 6 of the Holy Quran. So junub is someone who needs to perform ghusl. So ghusl actually means to pour water over your body, just to take a bath, generally speaking. But in Sharia there are ritual forms as well. Just like wudu itself, it is a ritual, but it must be done in order to purify ourselves ritually. For example, if someone breaks wind, that does not mean their hands are now dirty or their face is dirty or feet are dirty. But no, they just perform the wudu because it is a ritual, which is what we are required to do. And it is good. Like, look at the circumstances around us where people are performing wudu directly or indirectly, completely or incompletely, from the teachings that we learn from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And these are natural practices. To keep your hands clean is a natural practice, and Islam encourages it so much that even in prayer, when they are not dirty, we need to perform wudu, which is a ritual form of purification. We wash our hands even if they are not dirty. Why? Because it is part of our ritual. It gives us the ability to make it a habit to keep ourselves clean all of the time. In Sharia, ghusl refers to bathing oneself in a particular manner with a particular intention. Now, there are different forms of bathing, there are different forms of ghusl in Islam. Okay, there is the fard aspect, obligatory, there is the sunnah, and then there is the mustahab. So these three. Just a reminder for everyone that if you want to ask questions, you can at any time, and inshallah I will have a look at that for you if I have time. So the fard aspect of ghusl is generally of two types. Number one, after sexual intercourse or wet dream, and number three, after the end of menstrual period or end of postnatal bleeding for women. So these are the two general fard aspects. Then the sunnah ones are on a Friday. Okay, it's not for the Friday prayer. Okay, some say it's a Friday prayer, but it's actually for the Friday itself, having a ghusl on that day. Taking a bath on Eid days, that is sunnah on its own as well. And also when someone enters into ihram, it is sunnah to take a shower or a bath, though it's not fard or anything else, but it is sunnah. And likewise, when someone is at Arafah, when someone is at when performing hajj specific to them, they can take a bath, and that is sunnah. And the mustahab aspect is whenever, really, whenever, and after someone has undergone phlebotomy or cupping, hijama, it's very popular again these days, alhamdulillah, it's sunnah. After someone has been subjected to cupping, is undergone cupping or phlebotomy, then they take a shower or a bath, so it's mustahab. Then when entering Makkah or leaving Makkah or entering Medina Munawwara, so place like that, it is mustahab to take a shower. If someone has washed a dead body, some people take the understanding that according to Hanafi fiqh, if you have washed the dead body or if you've been to the cemetery, then it is further upon you to take a shower, ghusl. No, it's not. It's mustahab. It's mustahab in Hanafi fiqh. Even if somebody is doing ghusl to a dead body, then they themselves do not need to do ghusl. They do not need to take a shower or a bath. It is mustahab if they do. In other words, it is preferable if they do. It is not an obligation, as against what many people understand. It is also mustahab for a disbeliever to take a bath when he becomes Muslim. So it's mustahab for that person. If he knows that he is in the state of janaba, in other words, sexual intercourse or wet dream or anything, when the emission of sperm has taken place, then in that case it is going to be fard upon him. As soon as he becomes Muslim, it's fard upon him to take a shower now, to have that ritual bath. But otherwise, if someone becomes Muslim and has already taken a bath in the morning, for example, someone came to me once, they had already taken a bath and everything and shower, and then they came and became Muslim, and I said to them, it is mustahab for you, now that you're Muslim and you've declared your Islam, you said the Shahada, you've learned what you needed to learn, it is mustahab for you to take a shower now, to take a bath, but it is not obliged upon you because you've already taken a bath before you came here. Also to take a bath on Laylatul Qadr and also Laylatul Bara'a. Now, Laylatul Qadr, we do not know specifically when Laylatul Qadr is, but we know when Laylatul Bara'a is. Laylatul Bara'a is Laylatul Nisf min Sha'ban, the middle night of Sha'ban, the 15th night of Sha'ban. That is Laylatul Bara'a, we know, or Laylatul Nisf min Sha'ban. But Laylatul Qadr, we don't know for certain. A lot of people say it is on the 27th of Ramadan, but that is speculation. That is based upon experiences of certain people most of the time. So most of the people who have experienced it, they say they experienced it on the 27th of Ramadan. However, according to my own understanding and experience, Laylatul Qadr is not specific to 27th of Ramadan. It is not specific to Ramadan itself. It can be outside of Ramadan as well. However, I mean, as someone said that Laylatul Qadr can be on any night of the year, on any night of the year, which encourages us to stay awake every night of the year seeking Laylatul Qadr. But it is more likely to be in the month of Ramadan, more likely to be within the month of Ramadan. Now, in the month of Ramadan, it is more likely to be not in the first 10 days or the second 10 days, but it is more likely to be in the last set of 10 days. Now, within the last set of 10 days, it is more likely to be within those nights that are of an odd number, not an even number. For example, on the 21st night, 23rd night, 25th night, 27th night, or 29th night, not the even number ones. And within those odd numbered nights of the last 10 of the month of Ramadan, it is most likely that Laylatul Qadr is going to be on the 27th night. But it is not fixed. Nowhere has it been fixed. We do not find any dalil qat'i, any inconclusive evidence. Dalil qat'i, we studied dalil qat'i, I think it was the first lesson that we had on this, if you look at part 1, somewhere there. So there is no inconclusive there is no conclusive evidence, conclusive evidence, dalil qat'i, to say that 27th night of Ramadan is Laylatul Qadr. So it can be on any night. However, whenever it is mustahab to take a bath on that night. That's the issue that we are concerned with. It's also mustahab to take a bath when there is a solar eclipse, there is a lunar eclipse, and also when we are requesting for rain. But it would be best not to take a shower when requesting for rain, because water is already scarce at that time. Also, when someone puts on new clothes, it is mustahab to take a bath. And when someone repents from a sin, it is also mustahab to take a bath then as well. Because when you are trying to clean your inside by doing tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in fact begging forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a sin that you may have committed, then it is also mustahab to wash our outside as well. I think the light's a little dim as it was yesterday, so I'll just add this. So it is mustahab to take a shower or take a bath when someone is doing tawbah or seeking forgiveness from sin. Now we're going to go through the obligations of ghusl. So the obligatory aspects of taking a bath. What is obliged? What must we do when we take a bath? There are 3 obligatory aspects of wudu. Okay, of ghusl, sorry. 3 obligatory aspects of ghusl. In wudu there are 4. In ghusl there are 3, and they are rinsing the mouth, rinsing the nose, and washing the entire body such that not a single millimeter remains dry. Okay, so 3 obligatory actions in ghusl, in major ritual purification, in taking a ritual bath. And that is number 1, rinsing the entire mouth. Number 2, rinsing the inside of the nose entirely. And number 3, washing the entire body such that not even a millimeter, not even a speck remains dry on our body, not even a hair remains dry. So these are the 3 obligatory aspects of ghusl. Okay, and so the sunnah aspects. What are the sunnah aspects of ghusl? Remember, there's no wajib in ghusl like wudu. So there are sunnah aspects, and the sunnah aspects of ghusl are just like the sunnah aspects of wudu. So the sunnahs of ghusl are the sunnahs of wudu. They are the same, except two. Except for two. Number one, because we are in wudu, generally we face the qibla. We face uh, the direction of the Kaaba when we are performing wudu, if we can, that is. But in ghusl, it is prohibited to do so because we are in a state of nakedness, and a state of nakedness we should not be facing towards the qibla. That's against the adab of the qibla. It's against the etiquette. It's against the respect and honor of the qibla if we should face it in a state of nakedness. And the second difference between wudu and ghusl in sunnahs is that in sunnahs we have specific du'as when washing specific parts of our body. For example, when we place water into our nose, we make a particular dua. When we wash our arms, we make a different dua. When we wash our feet, we make a different dua. Washing the left foot, there is a different dua. Washing the right foot, there is a different dua. So there are duas throughout wudu. But in ghusl, we do not make any duas, except that if we do know those duas um, for wudu, then we can make them in our mind without speaking them at all. The mustahab aspects are the same as well, and whatever needs to be missed out can be missed out from there. And the makruh aspects of ghusl are the same as wudu. So the makruh aspects of ghusl and the makruh aspects of wudu are the same. So how should one perform ghusl? Ritual bath, major ritual purification. How should one do that? Well, first and foremost, obviously, they remove any physical filth that might be on their body. Wash the hands up. Okay, wash your hands, remove any physical filth that is on the body. Make the intention in the heart. Do not say it out loud, because you are in a place where we need utmost uh, sanctity. And we need to have utmost respect for what we say as well. So don't say anything in a state of nakedness. So we make the intention inside, and intention is always done inside. Spoken intention, that there's no such thing, but we do say it spokenly sometimes to remind ourselves or to remind the people around us. But the intention is in the heart. So you make the intention in the heart or in the mind that I want to perform ghusl in order to seek major purification. Or basically you could just say, well, not say, but your intention could be ghusl to purify myself. That's it. And then we remove any physical impurities that are on our body. If we need to visit the toilet, we do that before we perform the ghusl. So once we have started ghusl, we start doing wudu just as we do a normal wudu. So we perform wudu, washing our hands and everything, and washing face and inside the mouth, inside the nose, and everything just like a normal wudu. So once we perform the, except one difference, well, two differences that I've already mentioned. We do not face the qibla, and we do not make those du'as audibly. So once we have performed that wudu, we leave the feet till the end on one condition: if water is collecting at our feet. For example, if we are in a bath, that is, or a tub of water, and we are taking a bath there, so we wash our feet right at the end, or because those are the last thing that remain wet when that water, which is used water, which has purified us, used water, is collecting at our feet. So if the water is flowing, then we may wash our feet during the process of wudu before ghusl. If water is not collecting, that is, if it is collecting, then we leave the feet till right at the end. Right, once we have performed the wudu in ghusl, we perform the rest of the ghusl, and that is, we wash starting from the head, once the head and the right side, and then the left side, and that's how it goes, so on and so forth, until our whole body has been washed. So we make sure that every part of our body has been washed, and no part remains dry. If any part has remained dry, then our ghusl is incomplete. We have to do that again. So like I mentioned, If there is water collecting at your feet, we leave that at the end, and we do wudu first, and then after that we do the ghusl. Start by the head, wash the right side and wash the left side, and that completes our wudu, and then wash the feet right at the end when we leave, because water has been collecting there, and that water is not, you cannot be used for purifying purposes. So though the rest of the body has been purified, the feet have not, because the water that is collecting at our feet is used water. It cannot be used for purifying purposes. Like we studied the types of water right at the beginning, went through them very quickly though. Tahir, mutahhir, pure and purifying water. So the one that is collecting at our feet when we are doing ghusl, that is not tahir mutahhir, that is tahir ghayr mutahhir. So it is pure, but it is not purifying. And when we are performing ghusl, we wash ourselves, our body, 3 times. That is the sunnah. Wash it 3 times. So once the head, right side, left side, all the way down. That's done once, and then we do it a second time. Our head, right side, left side, all the way down, and third again. When we're washing our mouth and when we are washing inside our nose, we do so aggressively in order to make sure all parts are washed. But when we are fasting, we do not do that aggressively. We do that gently, and we only take in enough water that we are comfortable with, that no drop is going to go down our throat. Because as we have studied before, that when we place water inside our mouth, if we are fasting, if even one drop of water goes down our throat, then our fast, our sawm has been invalidated. So in order to protect our fast, we do not exaggerate when we are washing our mouth or nose. Okay, so I see there's no questions yet. So let's move on to what is a junub. A junub is a person, it's an Arabic term. Junub is a person who needs to do ghusl. He is in a state of major ritual impurity, so he needs to perform ghusl. Okay, so he has either someone who has experienced sexual intercourse and has not performed ghusl yet, or a woman who is experiencing her monthly period and it has ended and she has to perform ghusl now in order to purify herself. Likewise, a woman who has just experienced postnatal bleeding and that's ended, so she needs to perform ghusl as well. So also sexual intercourse, even though penetration has taken place and ejaculation has not, or ejaculation has taken place and penetration has not, one or the other, that will engender, that will oblige ghusl, and that person is junub. So it says in the Noble Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Surah An-Nisa, verse number 43. Ya Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la taqrabu as-salata wa antum sukara hatta ta'lamu ma taquluna wa la junuban illa abidi sabilin hatta taghtasilu. O believers, do not go near prayers when you are intoxicated until you know what you are saying. No, when you are major ritually impure, junub, unless you are travelers, until you have washed yourselves. So it tells us here that for a junub cannot do. Number one, he cannot pray. So your prayer doesn't not matter. You might do wudu 100 times, but if you need to do ghusl, then you're still major ritually impure. That wudu does not count for anything. Wudu will not count for anything. So ghusl is a must. That's major. That's the main thing that needs to be done. After that, if you need ghusl, which is minor, that can be done as well. But ghusl, there's nothing that can replace it other than tayammum. We will come to that. Secondly, recitation of the Quran. Right. If somebody breaks wind and then they need to do wudu, so they can recite the Quran off the top of their head and they can pronounce it as well, but they cannot touch the book, the mushaf. They cannot touch the mushaf of the Quran. Okay, they cannot touch that. But if they are in a state of major ritual impurity, they cannot even say the words of the Quran. So, for example, somebody's done ghusl and everything, but later on, they prayed Zohr prayer or whatever, and then later on they break wind. Do they need to perform ghusl? No, but do they need to perform ablution, wudu? Yes, they do. So without wudu, they can recite the Quran off the top of their heads, but they cannot touch the mushaf But when they need to do ghusl, not only can they not touch the mushaf, the copy of the Quran, they cannot even recite the Quran even from the top of their head. So if someone wants to make dua using words of the Quran, they can do so, but the intention has to be, I'm making dua, not I am reciting the Quran. So they can say ayats of the Quran that are used for dua. For example, Rabbik firli wali walidayya walil mu'minina yawma yaqum al-hisab. This is a part of the Quran. But if somebody recites it, needs to do ghusl, but they recite this intending to recite the Quran, they will be sinful. But if they recite this as an intention to be making dua, then that is permissible. Also, they can praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using words of the Quran with the intention that they are praising the Quran, not with the intention that they are reciting the Quran. For example, words like Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. They can say them in order to praise Allah, but not with the intention that they are reciting the Quran, because reciting the Quran, for that, a person needs to be major ritually pure, not impure. And there are others as well. I'm going to move on to another aspect, is entering the masjid. A junub cannot enter the masjid. So someone upon whom ghusl is fard, he cannot enter the masjid. Someone upon whom wudu is required, they can enter the masjid, because they are already in the masjid, like people in the month of Ramadan in i'tikaf, in spiritual seclusion inside the masjid, and then they have a wet dream and they need to perform ghusl. What do? They are already inside the masjid. Well, what they do is, with the carpet or the wall, they perform tayammum, and we will come to that. And once they have performed tayammum, they move quickly outside of that masjid prayer area to the area where they can perform their ghusl in the shower. Lots of masjids, they have showers built in these days, so go and perform the shower that is needed. So a person cannot even pass through the masjid unless there is no other way. So like I mentioned, one example is when somebody is in spiritual seclusion, in i'tikaf in the masjid, then only in that case they can quickly do the tayammum and move through, but otherwise they cannot even enter the masjid. And also doing tawaf of the Kaaba. So tawaf of the Kaaba, obviously for that wudu is wajib, so ghusl must be needed to a higher degree. So if someone is not in the state of ghusl or needs to do ghusl, then they need to perform ghusl before they can do tawaf of the Kaaba. As in pray, as in perform ritual prayer, salah, namaz. And like I mentioned, they can recite the Quran only with the intention of it being dua, only of the intention of it being praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not with the intention that they are reciting the Quran. That is not permissible. So next lesson, inshallah, we will move on to tayammum, which is very significant. It's just that people do not do it as often. When they need to do it, they don't know that they can do that, so they miss out altogether. So I go on to Facebook Live for the khutbah, but tomorrow I'll be using this YouTube live stream. I will not be using Facebook Live. So inshallah, see you then. A morals and manners class, 3:30 as usual, and this class, Fiqh, Islamic rituals, at this time, 6:15 till 6:45, or till whatever time it goes when we end, inshallah, tomorrow. So until then, see, there's no questions, so I'm just going to end it here, inshallah. So any other questions? I mean, people do send me questions on the phone as well. So if any questions come there, I will try and answer them here as well, so it benefits everybody, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.